Welcome to AM Muscle Maintenance Within Shape Fitness. I'm Coach Kim, and today's podcast workout is the annual 12 Days of Fitness routine. We've been doing an equipment-free session that takes about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how quickly you can go through all of the exercises, and it's mirrored to the 12 Days of Christmas song. So even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you can do these exercises. They are all equipment free. It is a little bit challenging, I will say. So what we're going to do, the format that we're going to use is I'm going to go through, I'll sort of talk you through and have you practice a couple of the moves, each of the 12 moves, right? So it starts at 1 and then we go 2-1, then 3-2-1, then 4-3-2-1, etc., all the way up to 12. So you only do the 12th item one time. But you do, for example, number 4, 8 times. So it can be a little bit challenging to go through, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be. But we're going to go through them. We won't go through it that way. I'm going to teach you each of the 12 moves. It's nothing super crazy individually. And then we'll go through the full length, starting at 12 down to 1 together, and then I'll give you some recommendations for how you can incorporate different sets in and different strategies to get through the whole thing, which can take as much as 45 minutes if you start and actually do each of the exercises and the way that the song goes. So on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. That's the way that works. And then when you say 2 turtle doves, then a partridge in a pear tree, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. So if we were to do the exercises that way, which our number 1, our partridge in a pear tree, is a walkout push-up, then back to your feet. So you squat down and walk your hands out to the push-up position. If you can execute a single push-up, you are welcome to. If you can't, that's fine. It can be a walkout plank. But then you walk your hands back to your feet and stand all the way up with using the glutes and pressing the heels into the floor. So stand up properly back to your feet. So that's the first one. All right. So try one of those if you haven't already. Make sure as you squat all the way down and put your hands on the floor, your feet are about shoulder width apart, and that you're bending at your hips and at your knees, not bending over and putting strain on your back. So you want to bend straight down, squat straight down, put your hands on the floor, then walk all the way out until you are in the hand plank or push-up start position, and then bend your elbows if you can, push back up, then walk your hands back to your feet, and again, push your heels into the floor and squeeze your glutes as you stand straight up. Okay, so the second move, 2 turtle doves, is pretty simple. It's 2 jumping jacks. So we're going to do 2 jumping jacks and a walkout push-up, then back to your feet. So jumping jacks are really easy, and there are some moves that are really, really easy. But remember, after we go through 11 cycles here with the jumping jacks, then the 2 jumping jacks becomes 22 jumping jacks in total. So 2 jumping jacks and a walkout push-up back to your feet. Now we're going to go to number 3. Because jumping jacks are really, really easy to do. You don't have to do perfect jumping jacks for these because you're going to be tired when you're doing them. But just try to remember as you're jumping your feet out to land lightly on the balls of your feet, to keep your back straight, your tailbone tucked in, and make sure that your hands touch up at the top. One of the big time beauties of jumping jacks. And I love jumping jacks. I do them every morning. But people sort of have written them off, right? They're too boring. But the thing about the jumping jacks that's really great for the body is that because you have to lift your arms up way over your head, you get that great stretch of your trunk. And if you touch up at the top, you get that full rotation or full range of motion through your rotator cuff and that full stretch. Okay, on to number 3. The third exercise is something called a lunge leap. 3 lunge leaps. So it's a reverse lunge into a high knee skip. So your hands can be out to the sides, or you can put your hands on your hips as you go into the reverse lunge, and you do 3 on each side. All right. So Reverse lunge. This is a hard move. This will be one of those ones where you'll not be happy with me later as we get to like number 10 and you get to that three lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walkout push-up, then back to your feet. But a lunge leap is taking that reverse lunge, the big step back with your left foot, bend both knees, and then as you come up, the left knee comes forward and up, and you do a little leap, a little pop up at the top with your right leg. All right, so 3 on each leg. Now, let's do side kicks for number 4. 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Now we've got 4 side kicks, again 4 on each side, where you lift up your knee to the left if you're lifting up your left leg first, then you kick out the lower part of the leg with a flexed foot, and that gets that hamstring activated, and it works the gluteus medius, the top of the left leg, as well as the left butt. And then the cool thing about the right leg is that, of course, it has to stabilize the rest of the body as you're doing the kick. Same thing with the left leg stability and the right side kick. All right, so we do 4 side kicks, then 3 lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walkout push-up back to your feet. All right, now 5 golden rings is the Christmas version, the Christmas song version. We're doing 5 plie squats. So you open up your feet really, really super wide, like double shoulder width apart with your toes turned out to about 45 degrees. Then keep your back straight. Again, pull in your tummy, keep those tummy muscles zipped up, keeping your back straight. You lower the torso straight down like a ballerina, and then lift up 5 times. And then 4 side kicks, 3 lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walkout push-up back to your feet. It's great, right? Just that portion is a really incredible way to warm up the body on a holiday, especially like a holiday day when it might be rainy. It's rainy in New York City today, rainy or snowy, but you're having like a big dinner or big, sort of gathering of family or whatever. You want to get your heart rate up. You want to move the body a little bit. You're not interested in driving out into to go to a gym or walking down to catch a train to go to a special, boot camp class or whatever. So these are really, really fun workouts to do because you can do them in your home, and you can do them with the family. It's also really fun to do as a group. Okay, now we're going to lie down on the floor for number 6 because we're doing 6 butterflies flying, which is a butterfly bridge. And that means that you bend your knees, you lie on your back, and your hands are beside your body, and then you bend your knees and bring your heels really close to your butt, and then let your knees drop open wide for like a butterfly, as butterfly wings. And then the bridge is where you lift your pelvis up into the air and lower back down. That's the butterfly bridge. So 6 butterflies flying. And then we stand back up for 5 plie squats, 4 side kicks, 3 lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walkout push-up, then back to your feet. And again, you're just not going to have time to do all of them. I'm going to take our time as we go through from number 12 all the way down to 1, but I want to keep going. I want to make sure you can try 1 or 2 of them, of each of them, and then we'll do 12 down to 1 together as we end the podcast today. And I'll publish this to the Body by InShape blog so that you can print it out as well. Okay, now on the 7th day of fitness, we give you 7 derricks rising. So a derrick is a goofy name that my 92-year-old client gave to side planks, moving side planks, right? Because if you lie on your side, you stack your feet and you lift up into a side plank, lowering down and then lifting up. He described this as like an oil derrick, pumping, lifting and lowering, pumping, I guess. So it could be derricks pumping. In any case, you do 7 on the right side and 7 on the left side. So we'll call them derricks pumping instead of rising. I had written down rising, but I think pumping might be a better word. All right, that's 7. So then we have 6 butterflies flying, 5 plie squats, and then 4 side kicks, 3 lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walkout push-up, then back to your feet. Okay, we're on to number 8. Another one of the funny names that we gave to exercises that you know and love are back to hip bridges. This is a single leg hip bridge, and we call it a car jack in my 91-year-old client world. Everything has to have a name that means something specific to like real things, right? And a single leg hip bridge means very little to most people, but a car jack lifting is something that the position actually looks like. So if you get into your hip bridge position with your feet flat on the floor, you keep your stable leg flat on the floor, toes have to stay down, and then you lift up your left leg. So now you're just using the right leg to lift up to your bridge, and then lower back down. So up and down 8 times with the left leg in the air, up and down 8 times with the right leg in the air. And then we do 7 derricks pumping, 6 butterflies flying, 5 plie squats, 4 side kicks, 3 lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walkout push-up back to your feet. All right, now, number 9. We've got 4 more to do here. Number 9 is 9 bears crawling. And you must know that I love being on the floor. I have a young daughter. She's a little older now, but when she was really little, and I have a couple of animals running around my apartment, so I'm always on the floor, often crawling around on my hands and knees. Bear crawling is crawling around on your hands and feet with your butt down like a 4-legged animal. So you're just going to take 9 steps, 9 right-left steps, so a total of 18 steps, if you will. And it can be, around in a circle if you're in a fairly small space, or up and down a hallway if you want, but it's 9 bears crawling. You just need to make sure you keep your butt down, because you should feel your tummy muscles engage when you're in this position. It's one of the most amazing elements of human progression through babyhood into adult, adult full-size humanity, that we screw up because we as parents really want kids to walk on their feet, which means that we often don't encourage them to run around, to crawl around a lot on their hands and knees. But it's the hands and knees neuromusculature and stimuli that are really important in terms of later in life functionality. So crawling around, getting down on your hands and knees is great. Bear crawling on your feet and hands is also really great. Okay, so that's the number 9. Number 10 is Russians jumping. I call them Russians jumping because I feel like it's sort of similar to a dance. So you're going to go all the way down to a frog squat. And when you come up out of the squat, you don't stand up. You jump up with your arms up and out to the sides, and your feet are kind of up and out as well. And then go back down into that really tight ball frog squat. And then up and out again. We're going to do 10 of those. So a total of 30 of those, right? That's a hard one. 10 Russians jumping, 9 bears crawling, 8 car jacks lifting, 7 derricks pumping, 6 butterflies flying, 5 plie squats, 4 side kicks, 3 lunge leaps, 2 jumping jacks, and a walk-up push-up, then back to your feet. 2 more. Just 2 more. And the next one's really super easy. Actually, they're both pretty easy, these last 2. The 11th move is 11 bunnies hopping. And so we're just going to hop lightly. Little bunny hops are really small, little jumps, little baby jumps, landing lightly on the balls of your feet 11 times, and that's pretty straightforward. And then the 12th move is skaters gliding. 12 skaters gliding. So if you have never done a skater hop or a skater glide, it's taking a left, so your feet point forward, and then you take a big step out with your left foot. And then your right foot continues behind the left foot at an angle behind and to the left of the left foot. And then the right leg leaps back to the right with the left leg following it, but the left foot goes beyond the right foot and then to the back and at an angle beyond the right leg to the right. And then you just go back and forth. So you're hopping or gliding kind of with your center of gravity fairly low to the floor. If you need to bend over a little bit, you can do that. And you hop to the left, the right foot behind the left foot and over farther to the left. And then over to the right with the left foot trailing behind the right, but farther over to the right of the right foot, and back and forth. So that is number 12. Okay, now let's do this together one total time, because you want to get your heart rate up. We're 15 minutes and a half into this podcast. And that means we have plenty of time. So take a couple of deep breaths. We'll go through it completely together. All right, we're going to start with number 12. And then we're going to finish up with the walkout push-up back to your feet. And again, I'm going to post this to the Body by InShape blog. If you have other ideas for elements that can go into the 12 days of fitness, it's great. The parameters are to work the entire body and not to use any equipment. No equipment needed, okay? So here we go. Now, we're going to do those 12 gliders. So remember, your hands are either on your hips. If you need to hold them out to the sides for balance, that's great. I'm not going to time this, but it shouldn't take more than 30 seconds for you to do 12 gliders, 12 skaters gliding, the skater hops. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Over to the left and over to the right, and over to the left and over to the right, and left and right. Left, right, left. Stay light. Keep your back. If you're bending over, that's fine, but still keep your back straight. Keep your tummy muscles in. You've got about 10 more seconds. Count to yourself. Make sure you're counting. It doesn't really matter all that much if you do more than 12 or just under 12. All good. Last couple of seconds, and go ahead and take a break. All right. Now, we're going to move on to the 11 bunnies hopping. This should literally take 11 seconds, maybe 12. So go ahead and start hopping. Your hands are on your hips, and you are, again, landing lightly on the balls of your feet. Now, plyometrics are sometimes scary for people. So if you don't want to lift up off of the floor completely, I understand why. Just modify as you would for any other type of hopping move. And of course, we've got the jumping jacks at the end as well. Okay, now we've got those 10 Russians jumping. So this is going to be hard. I want to make sure that we take our time as we go through these. Doing 10 of these is a lot easier than doing 30 of them, which is what you do if you start with the very first move and then work your way from 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 to 2 to 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. However, squatting all the way down into a frog squat is not so easy for people. So do your best in terms of getting into the lowest squat that you possibly can without doing any pulling yourself into a range of motion risk that would be associated with getting a little bit too low. You want to come up with your arms up above, like making an X formation with your hands up and out, palms face out. All right, and then squat down. Take a big deep breath. As you exhale, you come up. As you inhale, you go back down. And try to complete one full inhale, exhale cycle, one breathing cycle as you inhale on the way down and then exhale as you come back out into that sort of celebratory Russian dance kind of position. All right. And once you get to 10, we're going to move on to the bears crawling. Now, 9 bears crawling. We're going to be on the floor for a couple of the next moves. So you get down onto your hands and knees. Then you lift your knees up off the floor just a couple of inches and take those 9 steps. In any direction or a circle, forward and back, however you're able to do it in terms of your own logistics is totally fine. When you're finished, turn your body over and lie down on your back, because the bears crawling is right before the next move, which is the car jacks lifting, and that is number 8. So when you turn to your back, bend your knees Now the left leg straightens and lifts up towards the ceiling. And then you lift up and lower down. And lift up and lower down. Make sure that your foot is flat on the right side. You want your right toes to stay flat on the floor. And the reason for this is because you want the whole right leg doing the work. If you lift up your toes, only the front of your right leg is doing work. The back of your leg gets let off the hook. Okay, so you're doing 8 car jacks lifting with the right leg. And then by now you should be finished with those 8, and you can lower the left foot back to the floor and lift the right leg up off the floor. Same thing. Keep the left foot flat. Make sure that your toes don't turn out, and then lift up back into your bridge for the right leg, with your right leg in the air rather. So 8 car jacks lifting. Now 7 derricks rising. Let's start with the left side. So you turn to your left side, prop your body up onto your elbow, and then if you can hold a a side plank, a derrick, for 20 seconds or so, you want to stack your feet and lift up with your feet. If that's too difficult, you can rest your body on your knees. You just want to make sure that you bend your knees behind you. The lower legs end up bending behind your body because you want your hip flexors, your pelvis, to be one straight line. You do not want to have a bend at your pelvis. And then you lift up and lower down. And lift up and lower down. So 7 on the left side and 7 on the right. Okay, now one more move on the floor, and then we're going back to our feet. So 6 butterflies flying. You're going back to your back. Your feet, the soles of your feet come together, and your knees drop open. You want to make sure that your heels are as close to your butt as possible, and then you lift up your pelvis. As you exhale, lift up, and inhale, lower back down to just a count of 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. 6 butterflies flying. All right. Now we've got 5 more moves. So we stand all the way up, and we've got 5 plie squats. So legs are out wide, double shoulder width apart, with your toes turned out to about 45 degrees. You don't want to turn your toes out more than that because you don't want to be off balance. However, you do want some of that toe extension, and the reason is because you want to make sure that you're activating those inner thighs. Right? Every workout should activate your inner thighs. I mean, come on. The external and top part of your butt, as well as your inner thighs, are really, really sad parts of your body. So you want to lower down and lift up for just a total of 5 times. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Keep your belly button pulled in. Keep your pelvis straight, your tailbone tucked in. And try not to lean forward. Don't bend at your waist. You want to keep your torso really, really straight. Now we're doing those 4 side kicks on each side. So you're stable on the right leg. Your left knee lifts up and out. And then you kick out the lower leg with a flexed foot for those side kicks. You want to power through. That kinetic energy starts at the center of your body and then runs down the length of your leg as you kick out the side. And remember, you keep the foot flexed, and that's because if you were actually kicking someone, you would make contact through your heel. So you keep the foot flexed so that you could emphasize the power through the heel if you were actually kicking something, which of course, hopefully you're not. So you do 4 on each side. Now those 3 lunge leaps, right? Those are hard. They're really, really hard because you're taking that reverse lunge, bending both knees, lowering the body all the way down, and then coming up with that added dynamic movement of the high knee skip at the end. But 3 lunge leaps. Your heart rate is up now. Make sure that you're continuing to breathe, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. 3 lunge leaps with the right leg. 3 lunge leaps with the left leg. And 2 jumping jacks. Big extension up and over your head, and then down. And then 1 walkout push-up, squatting all the way down, walking your hands out to push-up position, finish 1 push-up, and then walk your hands back, and then you're back on your feet. So, how do you feel? I hope you feel great. there is nothing surprising here, nothing super crazy. We are doing core work. We are doing a lot of butt, hamstring, and hip work here. We're obviously working the shoulders with the plank and with the derricks, the side plank, in those positions. So we're not doing a ton of upper body work. The bear crawls engage the shoulders and your upper back as well. But this is an exercise routine that's designed for you to have fun with friends and family, hopefully, and something that you can do inside without any equipment as we continue to celebrate the holidays this year. So have a great week. I will see you again next week with another new workout, another new equipment-free workout. And get in touch with my team at bodybyInShape.com if you have any questions, and you will find this workout posted on the blog a little bit later today. All right, have a great day.